The Voices of Region 1 podcast with LaShawn English.
Hey everybody, welcome to Voices of Region 1. What up though? We are here today with our first podcast featuring our director of Region 1 UAW, LaShawn English. And I just want to welcome you to the podcast today, everybody that's here in the building and on our Zoom page. Get ready, get your questions ready, and we want to welcome Shantae to the mic. Hey, Shantae, what's up?
Hey, Toy. Thank you for the introduction. Welcome to today's episode of Voices of Region 1, where we shine a spotlight on the people making moves and creating impact within our union. Today, we're honored to be joined by our UAW Region 1 Director, LaShawn English, and her Assistant Director, Ray Picorero. We're diving into leadership, growth, and what the future holds for the region. Let's start with getting to know the folks behind the titles. Director English, for those who may not know your journey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What led you down the path to become the Director of Region 1?
So thanks again for the question, Shantae. And how did my journey get to where I'm at today? I started off as a pipe fitter for Sterling Stamping. And then from Sterling Stamping, while I was at Sterling Stamping, I was, like I said, I was skilled trades. And a desire to do more. A young lady named Wanda Butler, who came to me and she was like, hey, I want you to run for my position as a recording secretary. And I looked at her and I was like, yeah, okay, that's not happening. I'm skilled trades. Skilled trades have a different kind of little point of view about how we kind of chill mode. Skill trade is kind of a little chill mode. We have little chill. So she asked me, she said, yeah, you're going to run. It took a couple other people to say, I'm going to need you to run for that position. I was like, yeah, okay. No desire, right? But I did always have a desire to help people, though. I would say that. That's always been in me. And then I ran for it and I won. And I held that position for 3 terms. Which I really love being the recording secretary. It actually helped me grow into the union. It helped me grow into the UAW because it taught me a lot of, as a recording secretary, you're responsible for a lot of things that people may not realize that you're responsible for, like all correspondence. So you're reading the correspondence, you're learning like all the different departments within the UAW that you got to correspond to letters and things that come in, members' concerns that come in. At 1264, the recording secretary is part of the grievance procedure. So during that part, you're in the grievance and taking minutes and stuff. So you're getting to learn there. So my desire to do a little bit more, I decided to run for the president, which I did win. From there, I was elected for 3 terms in that position. During that time, I got elected to a couple of things. I got elected to the skilled trades delegate. Then I also got elected as a national negotiator. And being a national negotiator actually lift you up to another scene where you see the union, where you're negotiating for the contracts. So you're doing a national contract. And during that time, I was like, wow, this is, you see the union a little bit different because there's so many different aspects of the union that people don't realize. It's that, but you put in your demands, but when you're at the local level, you just see the demands. You know what I mean? You just see us doing these letters. You put out national demands, you put out these, you just see them. You don't actually think they're just going to have something happening with it. It's actually, it reminds me of a little story when I was killed. I'm just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill. If you don't know about it, you got to look it up. But that's how I kind of felt like when we write these demands. But now I was actually there. And I was arguing with the company of things that were demands, taking the members' demands that they put there. And I really enjoyed that. And so then I decided to run for the regional director. Wanted to do more, to make this union great. So I did, and I won. So that's kind of where my journey started. Maybe like Schoolhouse Rock. Doing a little Schoolhouse Rock.
It's good to know because there are so many people in the community, especially, this is your region and you service over 100,000 people who don't know, where you started, where you came from, and giving them a little background, make them feel a little better, because it's a thing about, we say hands-on. They like to have that hands-on, just not a figurehead. They want to know who's out there fighting and who's representing them. So let's talk about your team. You have a strong support system. And one of those key people is your assistant director, my assistant director, Ray Picarero. What makes Ray such an important part of the Region 1 family?
Wow. What makes Ray so important to the region? First of all, me and Ray started in this game together. And I say game, and not meaning like a gaming, like a play game. Me and Ray were two young people in the plant, desire to want to make change, want to be part of the change also of doing things. And I can remember the first time I met Ray, and we both were running for standing committee position. Because at Sterling Stamp, you got to run for office for the standing committees. And we ran, and some of us won, some of us didn't. I was actually got elected as the election committee. And and then Ray went on to win a lot of things, and we just grew together. I mean, it's the friendship that me and Ray have. People may say we argue like husband and wife. But the thing is, what I love about Ray, he cares about the membership just as much as I do. He's like the brother that I have in a union that I know who's going to make sure things that I miss that he sees. The thing about me and Ray, what makes him so important is that it takes a village, but having someone that has your back and having someone who has so many years just as I have and I watch grow, and we grow together, that's why he's so important to this region, because he really cares. He cares.
Wow.
Yes.
This job comes with a lot of challenges. What have been the biggest obstacles that you've faced as the Region 1 director, and how were you able to push through?
So in general, which challenges are you referring to, Shantae? Which challenges? Because every job comes with a challenge. Every job is going to have its challenges. The challenge in the region itself is weird, because I think my journey from me starting at the bottom, getting elected to the Women's Council, being elected to the election committee at the at the local, being a recording secretary, being a skilled trade delegate, I think all that really prepared me for the regional directors. So the part of me coming here, that hasn't been a challenge. I honestly say that. I think the challenge have been that the communication that people don't realize, that we have so many sectors under the region, and there's so many different sectors of people, and they don't feel like they're part of the UAW, or they don't feel like they part of the union here. And so like the independent parts, we'll hear IPS or our higher ed. People don't realize we have dog catchers. We have people who collect blood. We have so many people under our roof. I think the biggest challenges is making sure that I bring them in the fold, that we don't leave them behind. Because I think sometimes as a big three, we forget that we are a family, and the family consists of some other siblings who may not be eating as much as we have. So here at the region, we do those contracts. Our job is making sure those sectors get the most for their money. We make sure they're getting a living wage. So I think the biggest challenges is making sure that we don't leave them behind. To me, the big three have a national contract. Mm-hmm. That's negotiated for someone else. But our job here at the region is making sure these other sectors, we have 360 plus contracts that we do here at the region. And I don't think people realize that. That's what I'm saying. And my staff, I love them. I love my staff. And one of the biggest challenges probably for my staff is that they are trying to do the best and make sure and they just don't have enough time. So you figure just along this year long, we got 60 plus contracts that are up that they got to negotiate. So that's probably my biggest challenge, is making sure that I don't leave other sectors by themselves and not making sure that they get a living wages, making sure they get health care, making sure they get all the benefits, what it means in the union. I think that's my biggest challenge.
So it's been posed that people come in at the local level, like we just brought in a bunch of SBRs.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for years, that's all some of our members know, just the local level. So what would you say to those members as far as being connected to the region? Because they have no idea what the region offers, what the region can do for them. It's not, no shade on the local level, but there is more than just your locals, because you do have a whole region that offers things. So what would you like to say to some of the newer members, some of the older members who are still a little disconnected from the region?
First off, I would say all three are tied in together. Mm-hmm. It's like if your government, you have your city government, then you have the governor of the state, then you have the president. So we're all kind of tied in together to help to make sure that each level has a process. Here's the region. One of the good things that I think that having a region, and we're fortunate in other regions because we're really close. So we have in-person classes here so you can learn the Constitution, so you can learn how to write grievances, so you can understand contracts. We offer so much. We also a brother and sisterhood, because one of the things here at the region, we have so many councils. We have a skilled trades council. We have a great veterans council. We have a chaplaincy council. We have a men's council. We have a women's council. We have young workers. But all this is because we're a community among each other. And I think what the region really offers is that when you come here, you meet people from other sectors and you meet people from other walks of life, and you realize that we all want the same thing. And sometimes you think that things that are going on at your local is only going on at your local. But when you come to the region, you realize it's everywhere. And then the region is it's the middle ground between your local and the international, to be totally honest. We try to help streamline the two together. We're the middle person in reality. But come to the region, and I must say this will help me also navigate some of my local politics, was coming to the region, and it helped me understand why certain rules were put at a local level. But sometimes at the region, we don't deal with local politics here. We don't deal with the local issue. We don't deal with the local personal problems here at the region. We actually deal with trying to educate you to make you go back and understand, well, maybe why this was here. Because sometimes we tend to think that things were just happen. I can tell you this about your union. 90% of the things where they are voted on by the membership. This is what the great thing about the UAW is, voted on. And I think when you have newer people who come in, who don't have family that been in the union or only been in there or not have other jobs, then they realize, and that's our job. And one of the good things I think at the region, what I love about my staff, even though they're busy taking care of contracts, grievances, and doing so much, and even teaching classes, is at the end of the day, our objective is to make sure, let them know this is their union, this is their region, and anything they need from us, we're here to support. I think that's, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to talk to my man, Ray.
Yeah, that's what he calls us. Says my man. If you don't know Ray, that's what he calls us.
Ray, how would you describe your leadership style? And how has it shaped your approach in your role as assistant director?
Well, being elected 6 terms at a plant really shaped who I became, not only as from being a young man starting off the journey in the UAW to being a assistant director under our wonderful director, LaShawn English. The membership's input, their challenges, they're driving me. They're needing and wanting to understand the processes, sharpen my tools enough to turn around and either know the answers, search for the answers, or get the answers because I learned early on in my career with being a new steward that sometimes when you think you know something, and as my director says, assumptions will get you messed up. So I remember a lesson I learned right when I started representing members. Somebody came up to me and they asked, how many days do I get for bereavement for my grandmother? You know, being young, thinking you know everything, not really paying attention to where this was going, just answering the question and giving them the contractual answer, 3 days, and then I gave them my condolences and I went about my day. Well, I submitted the paperwork when they got back from their bereavement and it got rejected. So to make a long story short, the member lost their grandparents a year prior to this and missed out on the bereavement. And since I was a new steward, they were able to get one by me, right? So understanding that we have a responsibility, because as we know from looking and understanding that society could project something on us that sometimes is either misleading, mistrue, but it sounds good. And you would almost think it would go that way. But then when you dig deeper and you understand that, hey, that was almost a big lesson that I got burnt on, that almost came out of my own pocket and took money away from my family to make sure that member, because you only can be as good as your word. So if you give advice in this journey of being a leader and it backfires, you owe the membership. So my journey of learning is to pay attention to the members and what they say. And I just love people in general. You know, I actually, ever since I could remember walking, that I would love to be outside with groups of people and hearing what they had to say and having fun with them. Because no matter what race, religion, and sex you are, we're all wake up in the morning and put our pants on. We all can learn something from each other, no matter where you live, what you're doing, what sector you're in. So I just like the conversation of people, and I think that's what prepared me the most to do the best I can for people. And of course, it does come from an upbringing of having two solid parents at home that always taught me, no matter what, respect people, no matter who they are or what they are, right? And two, the point comes where you can't respect them no more. And then you still don't disrespect them, you just stay away from them. You deal with them as little as possible, right? So we, as leaders, like the director pointed out, me and her known each other for 25, 26 years. We had some good times back in Sterling Stamping, you know, and what gravitated me towards her, because I was a bug driver and she was a pipe fitter, and I would just come and drop a train off once in a while. And then she'd be like, hey, come here, let me ask you this. Or we would go back and forth jaw-jacking. And one thing that rings true to this day, she has a heart for the people, so do I. So we're not perfect, but I can tell you one thing, we are both very competitive. We both want to see the best for people. We want to bring people with us. This region, I know in the last couple of years has been open. We had a great event last week with 150 members for a financial thing. This is everybody's region. This ain't Director English, Assistant Director Pecoraro. This ain't the staff. This is everybody in Region 1. There's 100,000 members. I know we've been wearing it out lately at the region, so I'll forgive our brothers and sisters who weren't able to make this, but might be watching live, because we do need the balance with our families as well, right? Mm-hmm. But what I noticed in the last couple of years since One Member, One Vote in the leadership has sprung different, and we're trying different things. And I was asked my first month as being assistant director when I went up to Marlette and swore in some members. Shout out to 9699 and the committee person out there. Want to know how we get people involved? It's doing stuff like this. One thing I can say about the director, and this is why I love being here, because somebody did have a talk with me back in about 2010, 2011 to come join the team then. But I was like, she's a real leader. She'll let you lead. And that's huge for me, right? Because you can't lead if you're always looking over your back. We are not perfect. We're going to make mistakes, but she will allow us to do that. And then we're going to have to fix them, right? And some days are better than others. But when you care about people and you make the right decision based on what people know to be true, even if you know it's going to come back to bite you, you still move forward with it. And the question that was presented to me, which I thought it was $1 million question, was how do you bring people along? How do you get them involved? And I didn't have the answer 2 years ago on that. I was stumped. I know at Local 1264, shout out to them, we had nice Christmas parties because our plant manager decided that we weren't worth a half hour. Back in the 90s, we were getting 4 to 5 hour parties. But hey, we got to keep running. Even though we make $18 billion, we can combine your first break and only give you an extra 5 minutes. So hey, we don't need nothing from you. We can go do it on our own. Our local was right across from the facility. We had over 2,000 members plus retirees. And we only had a couple hundred people show up in a 22-hour day that the local was open. And then we also had the problem with, as most members know, on third shift, that they actually miss out on some stuff, right? Because again, being on third shift, you turn around and you don't always get to see the people. So we had a nice Super Bowl party. We're right across the street. 30 people showed up. So that wasn't cutting it. Even though we were doing stuff, it never brought them along. We learned during the stand-up strike, and this is what important, put the information out there, share it, make people feel part of something. Because guess what? If you feel part of something, you are going to grow and you are going to participate. And once we start participating and we move forward, like President Fain, shout out to my man, did by bringing us in with this contract campaign, that made all the difference in the world because now people are getting updates. Transparency is important. Now, do we hit it out of the park every single last day on every last? No, nobody's perfect. But I think the transparency in the last 2 years leading up to the last 20 that I've been elected, it's night and day. And I think as members, we do see that, and that's a testament to our leadership. They believe in being open and honest. They believe bringing people with us. They believe that information's here. Director English, I do know her priority and her thing is to educate members. Education, education, education. Because if we understand where we've been, where we're at, and where we need to go, we're winning. So I really appreciate the opportunity that the director gave me to be part of this great thing underneath her vision and leadership to take this region forward. And I couldn't be prouder to say I'm part of Region 1's team here and Director English's vision, because without that, we might still be having nobody here on a Sunday or a Saturday or any of our committees working the way we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. I'm going to pose this question to both of you. For the last 2 years, we have seen full growth with organizing and powerful moments. Can you both share some major activities, campaigns, or events that you're proud of since stepping into your roles? And I know you mentioned the stand-up strike, but what else are you extremely proud of since you've stepped into your roles?
I am very proud of our membership during the stand-up strikes because me and the director tried to hit every line almost every day. And I know that was my job passed by the director to make sure that we had no issues on strike lines and that the members were supported as well as the leadership. So I was able to go around 2 lines a day, 6 days a week, sometimes on Sunday for some of the members to come out and make sure they had everything they needed to withstand the fight that we were in, right? To make sure that they did. So to be there to support with my team, with director's guidance and making it possible for us to be out there every single day and doing the right thing, I think that because at the end of the day, those 25, 30% contracts, they're huge. I mean, I said it on a couple of the meetings we did, but if you look at the UAW as a whole, in 1999 was our greatest contract at $6 billion worth of new money. Ever since 99, 23 to 19, even when we struck GM in 19, we were only averaging 2 to 3 billion. This contract was 8 to 10 billion. So whether you like everything or not in this contract, the money alone got us to where we needed to be. And I promise you, with the direction that we are going, there is going to be an opportunity the next contract to get that retirement health care that we're so fought after this last agreement that we came up a little short on. So there will be, because when you have nothing that was given and you had to make such huge gaps for everybody, it almost impossible to get everything all at once. We did great. We got plans. We got ideas. We got the membership. And again, I wish we could take credit as leaders for this, but it was everybody watching this segment, everybody in the UAW as a whole. It's the membership, not only in this audience, that brought these big gains to us, because we knew we could count on you. We knew you guys were here to support us, and we knew you believed in it. So I'll give you guys a round of hand, because everything we won was because everybody watching this or in the audience today.
Director, is there something that you're extremely proud of?
You know what's crazy? People don't realize it's only been 2 years since we've been in this position. I mean, I want to say that really, actually, 2 years. So a lot has happened in 2 years when this union been around for 100 years, plus years. And, one of the things that happened was you got new leadership went into position, because we did have members to one member, one vote. So it's only been 2 years. So what I'm proud of in the 2 years, because a lot of things don't happen overnight, and there's more to come. And as we grow, there will be more things. But I am proud of that. One of the things, we started a men's committee here. That was great. We have an event here. I'm proud of my chaplaincy committee. They have ordained a lot of pastors within the locations. I'm proud of the women's committee. I'm proud of the veterans committee. We have such a wonderful veterans committee. I'm proud of, the difference that I see in that, our new car show. I'm so proud of all the classes and training. I'm not sure exactly how many people we have trained, but whenever we have a location that we organize, we take their first contract. And what we do here now is we make sure someone is from the region is there to make it sure, because I'll say this, I think it's very hard to negotiate with a boss. So let me back it up. I got to back it up, because I don't want people to be left out of what I'm saying and not understand what I'm saying, because I got to remember, most people don't understand this. So the region do a lot of organizing. We organize a lot of places. So if you on here, you're listening, you want to organize, you want to be part of the UAW, yes, please start. Call Region 1 if you're within the Region 1. But one of the things that we do here at Region 1 is we organize other places. But when we organize, you got to understand, a lot of people in these units have never belonged to a union. Never belonged to a union, have no clue what it means. So you already been suppressed by a boss. You want to be a union. You want to be in a union, but you don't understand the union structure. So what we do here is that we take our education committee. We bring in all the people, because they got to elect a team. So people don't realize the team come from within, because they know what they want for their facilities. So the demands and the things that they see on their floor, it's not me, it's not Ray, it's not my staff. It is the people that work in the facility that wants to be organized. So the people within that facility, we have them put in demands. And they put in their demands just like any other in the UAW. And with these demands is this is the starting of a contract. So y'all got to understand, like, books in the beginning of time were 1 page or maybe even 2 pages when you get first contracts. So know that. So these places, they're starting from nothing. So we make sure they're not just thrown to the wolves. So what we do is we get their leadership in real quickly. And we take our organizers and we do a boot camp of how to organize a contract. Then we make sure every department that's down in International Solidarity. So people may not realize there's so many departments downtown at the Solidarity House. So if they got skilled trades in their facility, it's a skilled trades department. We bringing them in. Social Security we're comparing the wages. We have a resource department. And then my staff who are experts, because again, they don't have time to go see something similar. My staff is dealing with that. So what my staff does, they're saying, we know you can get these wages. Because what I found out is when you're not talking and you're not utilizing the regions and all the resources, some of these locations, when I came in, they were only making $13 an hour. $13 an hour. And you will realize if they would negotiate their own contract, they would accept from the company maybe even $1. But that's what our job is. So I'm really proud of that, what we created here at the region. We brought in a lot of these places and said, hey, when you get ready to organize, we're here to support you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's amazing. There are still a lot of places out there are barely paying their people. And then also we make sure these companies, we try to bargain with them regarding health care. It's still, you know what, Big Three, we blessed. We may not realize it. Things that we take for granted are paid for, which again, I'm going to say this, that's a negotiated item. And everything we get is negotiated. I think people just assume that somebody just giving it to it, but it's not given. It's always negotiated. And that's also a cost to your contract. And that's also going to be part of the package of some of the things that Ray say. Some of that $10 billion and all that stuff Ray talking about as far as our contract, that includes additional care that we've been asking for and stuff. But in these these new plans that want to organize, they don't know that. They don't realize they can shop around and have differences. So what I'm so proud of is that we also brought in some organizers here at the region and temporary organizing, and they go out and grab these companies for us and organize them. That's what I'm really proud of, Shantae, because the more members that we bring into the union, the more people are organizing. Because another thing I didn't say, and I'm proud that we're getting into the community. Because people will say, why are you not in the community? Well, you got to have a community to respect the workers. And when you get the community to respect the workers, then more people will support us. Because this is the first time in history that the union has upped people supporting us. Because the strike in 2019, there was no support, just so y'all know that. From the elected officials to the community or whatever, it wasn't. But I can tell you this time it was different. And that's one of the things that we do here at the region, making sure we stay in that community and we talking to those communities. So when those places go to want to be organized, then the community is also supporting us. And they're coming out there when we put out, say, hey, we're organizing A, B, and C. People come. The community come. So that owner of that company is like, okay, I need to, get with the union and whatever. But we need to understand that organizing a union is not an easy thing. But the more we can help them and get what they need and what they want for their family, it's probably my most proudest thing that I have changed and did differently here at the region. I will say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It actually leads into my next question. Under your leadership, we've seen some education and community involvement and energy across the board. What initiatives do you think have made the biggest impact on our members and locals?
That's a two-part question. The reason I say that because when I was the president of the local, I think that I sometimes felt that I was an island by myself. And I blamed other people for my problems. I'm going to say that. I would say, well, they not doing that. I push it down there. And a lot of the stuff would be at the local level. I mean, it's really 90% of stuff is probably at the local level. But what we've done here at the region is we start bringing in the stewards your first line of defense, the person who was in your facility. We start bringing them and educating them. Because I will say this, anybody and everybody can get elected, but it's what you do when you're elected. So we start here at the region actually doing some actual training for the people that's in the front line. Because I know how hard it is. People don't realize how hard that job is. So actually, that is the worst job in the UAW.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it is the worst job in the UAW. And 90% of them are just learning that on their own. I kid you not. They don't realize, because seriously, you get elected to somebody, it's like getting a car. You don't know you got to put oil in there. Only thing somebody told you, put gas in there. I can tell you this, I forgot to register my car twice because no one told me you got to register until a police officer pulled me over and said, you don't have a tag on it. That is what happens in the union. You get elected as a steward and there's no book. There's no magic wand. So I recognize that. And also, being a president or a chairperson, also I recognize the need for that also no book either. You know what I mean? So you got to have a mentor program in any aspect that you're doing in this union. But it's a great union. But if you don't start using or understanding the playbook or using things to understand and make your job easier, you're going to go home stressed. You're going to quit these jobs. You're going to lose your relationship with your kids, your family. It takes its toll. So I think the education of newly elected, because as soon as they get elected, and bringing them here to the region is something that I'm continuing to grow and continue to do. And also, I'm educating the membership as a whole. So when someone tells them, the steward or someone tells them something, you're here. And that don't always make people happy. But I can tell you what, like Ray said, I believe in an educated workforce. I'm just being honest because I don't know all the answers. It's a whole bunch of books. But I can tell you this, you're going to educate me. There are times when people will question me, and I'm like, Ray, one thing, like I said, love about Ray, he got burnt. I always read, but he can keep getting, not to scare Ray. But no, the thing about the UAW, there's receipts. Anything someone comes to you, you can always show them in the book. And I always want to tell people, you can change it within 4 years or next time, but you as the membership are the power. One person can't change nothing. I can have a union meeting. If I have 100,000 people and only 12 people come, it's no sense in me changing it for 12 people. So people got to understand, but only time you can change it are different things. If you don't like the time of your union meeting, you have a right to change it, but you got to get enough people to come. So I think my biggest thing is education. And that's what I'm working on. I'm educating people at the top. I'm educating myself too, but I'm educating the people that's under me, and I go further and further and further. And that's our job. That's my job. So that's what we're doing here at the Region. So I'm most proud of that. I am most proud of that.
I touched on this a little earlier. For our newer members, what would you say to someone who's just starting and wants to get involved? What advice would you give them?
Don't wait to get touched. Don't wait for somebody to tell you to join. Don't wait for somebody to have to tell you to get involved in your union, because it's your union. As my pastor at my church has said to me, go see about your job. And don't go in with thinking that everything there is all messed up. Don't go in what you've been told. Go in with an open mind. And I'm be honest, everything at your union means all right. I didn't say part of my story. Part of my journey should just be, why did I start running at my location? Because it was all about a softball team. Because I was mad because first shift had a softball team. And they got uniforms, and I thought the union was like, why they give them uniforms? I couldn't get a uniform. But, I'm like, somebody said to me, and I came out of the building trades, well, go to the union meeting to say something. But then my mind started thinking like it takes more. We can't this is our union. But I think people believe that it's not their union, but it is their union. You can run for the office, so whoever you don't like in the position, you can be in that position if you want to. So you can be that person. And then people will say, well, that person got elected by politics. No, if you're new, go learn about the organization. If you're new, talk to people. You may not like their answer, but go back and talk to your local president, your chairperson, your steward, whoever, the district chair. I would say for a new person, go read a book of what it means in the union, first of all. Because go ask somebody, why would Starbucks want a union? Because I think some of us got to the place where we think that everything is already entitled. The problem that we're now, because the older generation have been around, there's a lot of things that have been entitled, but people don't even realize. I say it all the time. Bathroom breaks are entitled. That's what I'm trying to say. You like, hey, break times are it's all this stuff is negotiated item. A picnic table, a toolbox, gloves, earplugs. But when people come in and you're giving all this stuff, I think you expect it, and then when somebody take it away. So if a new person, I think you want to read. I think you want to go to your union meetings. I think you want to talk to your leadership. And I just think the region, if you're in Region 1, I'm going to honestly say, if you're in Region 1, come here. We have classes. We have so much here to offer, because don't wait for somebody to pour your cup, get the straw, and drink it for you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to happen. You got to be part of this family. It's so that you have just became the brother and sisters when you got in the UAW. What the UAW says to you, you are a union member, but you are a brother and sister. And you just became a part of a big family. And know the rules in the family.
So I want to piggyback one comment on this as well, because it's funny your director said that, right? Because me and my 4 kids today, we were on our way to church, and I was referring to an article, and the ones that were born in the 70s or early 80s will probably get a kick out of this, is that it used to be a punishment when your parents told you had to stay inside, right? Think about this for a second. So I tell my kids, I can't get you guys outside, but back in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up, we would make our parents' life a living nightmare if we had to stay inside for more than 1 to 2 hours. And you guys would all be, hey, come on, Dad, let me do that. Hey, Mom, come on. And you would stay right next to them. So the point is, if we don't teach our children or our members or our friends the way that it used to be, first and foremost, they'll never understand how to move this forward. So I see my kids' eyes like, well, you guys didn't have the internet back then. There wasn't a lot of video games there. Yeah, I mean, we went outside, 100 OSD. We had fun. We came in when the street lights went off, pretty much, right? But going back, there is a generational gap on how we did, and the world's changing, right? And I remember coming in Sterling Stamping back in 95 and getting hugged. And I still joke about this today. Like, hey, I don't know what you're up to, but hey, I'm just here to work, And they thanked me because I was new. He's like, no, you're new meat and stuff. And I didn't understand what he meant by that at first. So I was a little confused. But with that being said, he's like, for 20 years I was stuck on second shift. I had to turn around and I lost my wife. I didn't see my kids grow up. So I believe that we lost a lot in transition from that generation to our generation. And my steward used to get on me a lot. And it took me a minute, but I did wise up to not finish the job in 3 hours when it should have been an 8-hour job, right? So some were training us back then, but we didn't listen. So we each learn on our own pace and our own ways. But what I'm saying is we have to take our knowledge, because some people don't know hot water was a negotiated item back when we first started this, right? The companies didn't give us this. But how would you know that if somebody don't tell you that, right? So we do have to do a better job to getting the new members and even the members with 30 years like myself to understand this is, like the director said, this is our union. This is Region 1, ours. We want this room filled up. We want these classes filled up. And that's why it's such an honor and a privilege for me to work with the director as well as the members to fill these rooms, to get that message, to make sure that 4 generations can work at the UAW and all that stuff. So I did want to add that because I felt that.
Thank you, Roy. Because there's a lot of obstacles.
Yeah.
A lot of obstacles. Go ahead, Shanta.
At this point of the segment, we're going to move into a question and answer piece. And I have questions that I believe came from the audience. And what we really like is if you submitted one of these questions, can you come over to the mic and ask the question of the director, please? And while we're waiting, there are some things that are going on at the region that if people want to get involved with, we have a communications team that we're building. We also have an entertainment committee that we're building. So anyone that's watching or in the audience, the live audience, if you're interested, please reach out to Region 1 and give us your name and your number, and someone will be getting in contact with you. So our first question.
And Shantae did say we have a communication team. That what the communication team is doing is that we know a lot of information do not get inside the plant. And trust me, I'm aware of that. So what we're doing is we're asking people from all locations and come here, and we will either email you, you can come and pick up the flyers, whatever, just so I know how hard it is for the information and how to get it. So that's why we're creating a communication team that consists of people from all sectors everywhere, just so you can see what's happening at the region. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
What up, though, Region 1?
My man, what up?
You know, for those of you, because it's probably many of you in this room, have no idea who this brother is standing at the mic. But let me share, and I'll be brief. Most time you give union officials a mic. We take all day. We like Baptist preachers. But I'll get straight to the point. I hired in the Ford Motor Company back in 1988, Michigan truck plant. Started from the bottom, going to college during the day, working on them lines, building the O.J. Simpson Bronco F-150 series. Thought I was going to go salary. Nah, that ain't my calling. I'd have got fired in 24 hours. So some OGs, unks, they saw something in me. They said, this brother got a voice. I got involved in the union. I got off the sidelines. I did what LaShawn and Ray are talking about. I got involved in what? Our union? Baby, let me tell you something. Started as a district rep. Had a perspective, figure I cuss everybody out, get what I wanted. Became a bargaining rep. Look at God, won't he do it? Second term, my paradigm shifted. See, I had OGs pouring to me. Here's what I love about today. See, I'm an East Sider now. I reside in Sterling Heights. Y'all regional director, when I came to her and asked for support on something that took my mother's life, heart disease, in February, Region 1 stepped up to the plate. And when she reached out to me and said, Noodles, because everybody called me Noodles. You know, when I was back as a UAW rep, retired out of the president's office in 2020, my name was Daryl Nolan. But God says, son, I'm going to use you. You Noodles out in these streets today, but I poured into you some teaching. And when I came to LaShawn, because like I said, I reside on the east side now. I'm UAW through and through. I done been places. I've been to the White House. I done shook President Obama's hands. I done sat in national meetings, NAACP, TULC, you name it. I've been there, done that, wrote a book. But that ain't what I'm here to compliment. Because it ain't about me right now. What you spoke on, LaShawn, and every time I called on Ray, here's what us union brothers and sisters need to understand. And I'm going to give you all a little something to take back to the plant. See, I've been there, done that. I gave Ford Motor Company 32 years of my career. 24 years was in UAW leadership. Started from the bottom all the way to the top. I became plant chairman. We was building expeditions and navigators, baby. I was bouncing them in the streets when they thought I was a dope boy. I'm a blue-collar brother, baby. Okay? God said, like LeBron said, take your talents elsewhere. Go downtown. 2011-15, I'm in negotiations at World Headquarters. Negotiating on behalf of the Ford membership on this side of town and the other side of town. 19, God said, 19 negotiations, yup, GM. I was there. Front line and center, baby. I was there. I ain't telling you what I heard, I'm telling you what I saw. But here's what we got to understand about our UAW, our organization. The membership has the highest power according to the Constitution. How do I know that? I used to talk to LaShawn when she was president at the local, baby, and she called the president's office and had a question relative to the Constitution. I shared what I shared. I poured into my sister, okay? See, I used to sit in the MIAB board meetings downtown Detroit. I know more than I'm going to share it because it ain't my place to share it. When she got elected, made me proud. Made me proud. You want to know why it made me proud? Because you care about people. You care about people. What you did for me and my mother fighting heart disease, Ma, when you sent me the text message yesterday saying, am I available? Let me tell you what I did. Anybody that I said I had business to do with today, I'm showing up at Region 1 to support you because you supported me. That's what the UAW was all about. Let me tell y'all something. If you don't go back to your location, if you don't start planting seeds, you got to plant seeds. Because, see, everybody ain't on board. Sometimes God will use you. You plant that seed, somebody else going to come along and water it. Somebody else going to come along and move that, put a little plant food on it. You feel me? Mm-hmm. But I know my time is up because I feel like I'm turning into a Baptist preacher. But I just wanted to come up here today to show the regional director of Region 1, LaShawn English, and her man that's got her back, my man Ray.
My man, yeah.
Y'all came for me and stood up and supported me. I'll never forget that. Anytime you need me, I'm still here on the east side. Okay. I will be more than happy to pour into that men's group that you put together. Because let me tell you something. I understand leadership. I can pour into some folks. You can take that to the bank, baby.
Come on with it. There you go.
You can take that to the bank. Kennedy, your guy, your man. Mm-hmm. He used to follow me on a podcast show. It used to be called Three Mics and a Plate. Nah, God said, run solo. I got a podcast show called Spending Time with Noodles. LaShawn, you coming on my show. I'll reach out to you soon. Love, peace. Don't need no hair grease.
Hey, LaShawn.
Yes.
Hey, we got a question over here off of the Zoom link.
Okay. This question.
The question is,
ooh,
excuse me.
you're smart as that. Turn this one off, Rachel. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's being done to get more people into the trades? They want you to clean up the wait list.
Ooh. So that is not something that I can do at the region. It depends on what sector you are, where you at. Now, I will say this. If you're not part of the sector of the big three, because that's handled by the president's office, the vice presidents of those departments, the head of those departments, and some of that was negotiated. But I will say this. One of the challenges that I do say to everybody that's in skilled trades or looking to get into skilled trades, sometimes a lot of the trades, the big building trades, are looking for people. And sometimes you can go over there and go to school, get your journeyman's card that way and try to get in because it is a dying trade. There are a lot of people, the average age of skilled trades is 60-something plus years. So there's a lot of interest. But here at Region 1, we are actually creating apprenticeship programs in our independent parts plants. So sorry, that question is not mine, but I would think that
send it to me. Give it to me and I'll look into it.
Well, we can look into it, but at the end of the day, right, it would go, we can send it to the department that you're from. I would say that.
So yeah, to piggyback off of what Sean said, that
we got questions.
Okay, so make long story short, please reach out to Region 1, whoever's asking the question, and we'll see if we can give you a better and at least a area where to go to assist you in your question. Because again, if you don't know where to go, you're never going to solve the problem, right? So the problem will be, we will address it and get you in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a question from the audience. And could you please give us your name and your local?
Yes, my name is Kanisha Powell, and I'm from Local 7.
KB, that's what they call her.
How y'all doing? Sean, Ray. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, LaShawn. I appreciate y'all service and everything that y'all do. One of the questions I have like a two-part question. One of the questions I have is, how do we get involved more at the region, and how do we get the communication? I asked this question before. How do we get the communication at our local, as opposed to it just going straight to our local? How do the people on the floor get the communication? Because a lot of times the people on the floor don't get the communication, okay? It stops at a certain point and the people don't get the communication. It's divvied down a certain type of way. It's divvied down to who they want to have the communication. You know, we won't know about this. It's about who, and not trying to be, funny or negative or anything, but it's about who they want to have the information on the floor. A lot of people on the floor don't know a lot of things that's going on because we don't get the information on the floor. I get some information. I try to pass it out as much as I can. I'm a member, just like a lot of people at Local 7. But a lot of people don't get the information. A lot of people don't know that it's things going on outside of their local like this. You know what I'm saying? So they want to be involved. They want to know, but they don't get the information. So how can we get the information on the floor?
Okay.
Is it just one process that you got to give it to one person and then they determine who gets it? Well, we want the information on the floor. The people want to know. And they think that they got to go to one person or they got to be hooked up with the right person or be friends with people. That's not how the UAW work.
No.
We're a family, so it should be able to be on the floor. So the question is, how can...
So that's a good question. And actually, that's a great question. And that's what we're working on. So, but first I want to say this. I was a recording secretary, and people used to say they never saw the information. So I'm going to say this. Sometimes, and I'll use my best friend. She's probably listening. And she'll walk past that board and wouldn't read that board. And I used to tell her, I bet if I put it right there in your face, you don't roll. So there are some people, the information there. But I'm going to not dwell on that too. But I believe that one of the things we're doing here at Region, we have created QR codes. And there's the information is we have a Facebook page, we have a website, which everybody may not be on, which is correct. Right. But then also on top of that, we are creating, it's called a communication team. And this communication team is anybody within, there's no politics in play in this. Okay. If you raise your hand and send your email to Shante and say you want to be on our communication team, okay. The communication team's only job is to make sure communication gets on the floor. Because I would say this, and I'm not defending anyone, but sometimes your local leader may only have one person that do the posting. Sometimes the information doesn't, they have a job outside of the job at the local. See, I was lucky to be a full-time recording secretary and I wouldn't have time to post. But again, it's still never easy when you try to deal with 100 people, right? We got a newsletter. So join the UAW.org. Also information is on there. Like I said, UAW Region 1. .org. We got our own, information there. Our Facebook page. But please, if you're listening and you want to get the information, just email us here at the Region. Get on our communication team. And please, because it's so much talent. There's so much things going on. And one of the good things about the Region, we're using people's talent that's within the union here to do things and to show your talent, actually. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say.
Thank you, LaShawn.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Great question.
Can you please tell us your name and your local?
My name is Denise Caldwell, and I am from UAW Local 7. First of all, I want to say Happy Women's History Month. We're almost at the end, so I want to say Happy Women's History Month to you both. And also, my question is, what about aspiring women that are scared, that don't think they have a voice? What is your recommendation to them?
It's a good question. It's probably, I actually just was at 140 and I actually kind of talked about this and I actually spoke on that yesterday. Women are meant to lead. I'm not just going to put it like that. Women are meant to lead. Women are meant to lead. We were born to lead. No ifs, ands, and buts. I just did a podcast the other day and it was like it take us 8 times before or 7 times before we will even run for something. Women, wherever you're at, women, you are your body, everything, the moment you were in the womb, we were made to lead. We are leaders in ourselves. We just got to know that with ourselves. Get a good mentor. It doesn't have to be somebody older or younger, or it doesn't have to be somebody that's older or something, but get a good mentor. Get someone to tell you, because we got to stop thinking it takes somebody else to satisfy us, because like I said, the problem with women, we see things wrong. We know how to fix it. Even like in skilled trades, the women in skilled trades, sometimes we'll tell a guy how to fix it. We know 5 minutes later, he's going to be like, he going to do it wrong. We just sit there and watch him do it wrong like 4 or 5 times. No offense to the skilled trades, but the women, because it is how we is, but we got to insert ourselves. So what inspires me is you got to get people like-minded. And you are also, just so if you don't know, turn to face the camera, Denise. She is the chair of the Region 1 Women's Council. And one of the things that we're doing on the Women's Council is we should invite y'all to our meetings because we are encouraging more women to run, more women to get active. We are creating things, talking about the mean girl syndromes. We're talking about the bullying that happens in the play. And we also, I didn't say this, but I'm also over the women's department. And having a women's department, one of the things that me and Ashley are doing are teaching women who are in leadership how to retain women in the workforce, and how to do contracts. So we're doing things to make sure we empower women. But I would say this, it's in you. It's in you. Ain't nobody got to tell you, ain't nobody got to touch you. When you was coming out that womb, you was ready to lead because you're leading. I said it yesterday. You're going to be two places in your life. Either you're going to be taking care of your kids or you're going to be taking care of your parents. Somehow you're going to always be that person, but you know how to organize it. You know how to go to work. We do 5 jobs before we actually do our real job that pays us. So what makes you think you're not a leader? And we need to support women that are in the positions. If a woman is in that position and she's doing her job, make sure you support her. Yes. Because when other women see us support each other, it just makes more women want to join the club. Not a gossiping club, a club of support. I don't
have time for that.
You know what I mean?
And again, thank you for pushing us because, like you said, I am over the Women's Council here at the region.
And so let y'all what day we have open meetings, girl, because, they new to this. They just listening. Turn around that camera and tell them what days you have open meetings for women to come up here.
The third Wednesday of the month here at the region is when we have our meetings, and they are at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. So, is it 4 or is it 5? 5 o'clock. I'm sorry. The financial secretary just told me 5 o'clock. It's at 5 o'clock, and you're more than welcome to come and help us because we have a lot of work to do. Because y'all know who our director is, LaShawn English, and she has given us a list that is taller than me, and we need help. We need all the women we can get to come out and help us because our list is very, very long, and we can't do it by ourselves. We need other people to help.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And the help that she's speaking of is the Women's Council has subcommittees. We have 14 different subcommittees that we do need volunteers for. So if you're interested in volunteering, again, reach out to Region 1 and give your name and your number, and I'll give you a call back. I have a question that was submitted. With the Constitution Convention coming up, how can members engage?
Ooh, delegates. So this is a great question. This is a lot of people got their start there. Run for your delegate. Make sure you're looking for the posting because it's going to be coming up soon. I'm sure I can only speak for 1264 in regards that we normally will have our election for the Constitution, the delegate convention. We normally will have it beginning probably March of next year. So I'm not for sure, but check with your local leadership, your recording secretary, or your election committee as to when this will be posted. But I would advise you to do that. But just get elected, to get on that floor and get your voice heard. That is a great way to start. And we will be talking more about the Constitution here because, again, that is our Bible and that is what makes us a UAW. And I say that because with anything that you want change in there, the way to get on there is to get on that floor and get elected as a constitutional delegate.
We have a question from the audience.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Ritchie. I'm with UAW Local 2071, Wayne State University. And I have a question for you, LaShawn, is how many times did you have to run before you actually was elected as the president?
Once. I have not lost.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm always.
But you got to. But I'm gonna say this: I did the work, and the people saw me doing the work, and I just went out there. I did the work. The very first time, like I said, when I ran for recording secretary, I had no clue what this organization. But my mentor, Wanda, the one who had the position, she's like, "Oh, you running first." She said she saw something in me that I did not see. You get what I'm saying? She said to me, she touched me and said, I'm leaving. I want you to take the spot. I think you'd be the perfect one for the spot. I didn't see that. I'm not gonna say
I saw it.
when you saw.
I
Let me go
saw it
say.
at the beginning
But
when I first
right,
met
but you
Yep.
saw, but you didn't see me when I first started
Right.
because you know what? Sometimes it do take other people to see something in you, and it's already in you. Like I said, it's already in it. As Denise said, and I said it's already in us. But it was just the journey that I was meant to take. Because you don't wake up and say you're gonna be the president. You don't wake up and say this. You know, I got a whole many things to do. But no, I just just do it.
I have another question
Mhm.
since I'm here. And this is from kind of like what KP was asking about getting the information out, because one thing with Wayne State, we have our meetings, we may have less than 20 people. So, and I know the university is huge, but a lot of the I guess they don't take it serious because they're not in it. And is there a way to like get this information to them as well, where they could, I know the PNA union, they're stronger than the local 2071 because they all stick together and they're making sure, like from the beginning, our union is not like that. So
That's kind of sad because again, you're still part of the UAW.
yes.
The thing is and I'm not speaking against any leadership or anything, but information is available. And I just stated this to someone else. Everyone is a member. So if you see something, print it down and go take it out. If you see something that your sisters or brothers, so it'd be just like this. If mama told you that she cooking, are you going to leave that one brother over there and not let him eat and tell him your job is to go tell him? So it's everyone's job. That's not mom and dad's job to make sure the word get out, right? So the objective is like, if you know something, and there's no really union as strong as the UAW, just so y'all aware.
Yeah.
The UAW is one of the most informational, giving out information. But, like I said, some of us wanted to be put here, put there. And I say create an email chain among your group, and people start doing that. Team leaders should be doing it or wherever, everyone is a leader in this union. Like I said, if I'm cooking a big dinner, and I'm expecting you to tell everybody to come and you don't tell and they don't eat. And the first thing that person's like, well, she didn't tell me. But then they see a picture of you here. You know who they mad at? You. Because you didn't tell them. So if you know something that's going on here, go live on your Facebook. Say, hey, this is the information. Because it takes all of us. It takes a village to get the information out. Because there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I want to piggyback off what the director said, because she said it a few different times in a few different ways. At the end of the day, we all have a position, we all have jobs to do, right? So your recording secretary is going to do what she does or he does. They're going to post it at their designated boards. But like the director pointed out, even our best friends walk by it. Why didn't you tell me about it? How many times, So then we start, she seeing that. She knows it. So here at the region, we turned off our social media posts, so we notified the leadership that we're going to be posting it on their social media. One way, but that's still not enough. Once you do that, then to the director's point, start an email chain with your members. Then you also can have somebody delivering flyers. Then she hit the nail. This ain't about politics. This is about sharing information.
Right.
Because if somebody believes in that they're part of something, they're going to gravitate to it, and we're going to get stronger. So now we are going to start a committee here at the region for communication. It's not to bastardize anybody. It's just another step. Because guess what? There's not anybody in the world thinks they're going to be able to talk to 2,000 to 7,000 people, even 200 people being one. You're wrong. It's not going to happen. You can have boards, and that should be enough, but that's not enough. We realize that. So we are going to do here, we are going to keep doing what we do at the region and let the leadership know. Then we are going to turn around and open up communication teams at our locations within the region. And then we are going to keep posting on our social media too. And hopefully after all that, then it's going to need, and Mr. Nolan said it over here, Brother Nolan, that we're going to take this information from the ground and spread it. And it's going to be a village pushing it up. For some reason, we always believe that top down should be leading, but no, it's the members, and we got to push this stuff up. And I'm proud to say in the last 2 years since I've been down here, I've seen the bottom of this room, members that we meet every day, pushing it up. And that's what we need to go forward with the UAW.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's another thing, because I only found out about this today. So, and that's only because of my friend Dee. She always she's like, you got to get here or whatever. And I'm, I happily come. But I guess that means that I would have to do better as me being a union member and sharing information, because I heard about the women's meeting that they have every third Wednesday at 4:00. And sometimes it's the timing, because a lot of time, like the timing that I'm off is at 5:00. Or she said 5, but yeah. So I'm going to try to do that, but it's just, I always find out last minute, and I do want to do better as far as sharing the information with the university.
And we do a calendar too that we send out too. And it talks about the calendar. So another thing we also do, Crystal sends out a calendar of all the things that we're going to have for the month, and sometime, or even for the whole year, we put a calendar up too.
Okay.
So like I said, if you're following our page or you're on our website, so here's the thing, you can just push follow. And if you're following, if something posted, you'll get a notification that something was posted, and then you'll know.
Yeah. I'm going to do better.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You being here is good enough. And to your point, sometimes we do miss the obvious. It's life, right? Everybody's busy, because Director English pointed out that before you even do your job at work, you're doing 5 jobs as a lady, and probably 3 to 4 as a man too.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we're all super busy, but there's going to be enough outlets through the director's education and leadership and vision that sooner or later you're going to be able to click on something, one of 10 devices, and it should pop up to you. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say we have this out for a month. We just got our flyer out for this event, I think Tuesday or Wednesday. We have save the date stuff, but we can do better, and we know this, and we are going to do better, right? And we're going to keep doing these, because again, we got to have everybody from the bottom raising the roof in order to go into 28 and get the best contracts that we can, or whenever your contract expires, because being with TOP and the IPS, as well as the big 3, there's different expirations date, and hopefully one day we'll have May Day, where the whole country's on one day. But with that being said, we will keep feeding the communication, and we will keep preaching it. And guess what? All you got to do is follow UAW Region 1 Facebook page. And yeah, you would like 3 to 4 weeks notice on this, but you would have had 4 days, which is plenty of time if you would have been there to see the flyer, right? So we're going to get better. So
we're good. We got work to do too. As I said, it's only been 2 years.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So AD Ray and Director, we've all been elected, and we've all sat at union meetings at the podium and looked out at our members, and we wonder, what can we do different to get more members at the union meeting and getting them engaged? We've all asked ourselves that question many times. So that is one of the questions that has come in. What can we do to get more participation in meetings and get our members engaged?
Letting them know, basically, my thought would be, let them know that it's not a meeting, it's our livelihoods. We go there, and a lot of stuff at your local meetings do get passed, and then you wake up one day and say, wow, what happened here? Or why did this happen? Or why is it this way? Or why is it that way? I know we're all busy, myself included, 4 kids, a wife, work a lot. Director's very driven. So with her drive becomes more responsibility for me.
Nice.
As you can see, Sunday, 4:00, we're here. Not complaining, because I love it. I actually really appreciate this, because I know the reward at the end of the day is when we fill these local leaderships at the local level as well as the region. And I want to leave it better than what my grandfather did back in the 40s and the 30s when he first joined the UAW. And I want to say that one day the union arrived full circle. And in 20 years, it was not always that case where you wore your UAW wheel. Because like I said, I got some experience in this. So I have been in the darker days of the UAW as well as leading out to see the light. And sometimes when I used to wear my wheel, I'd be getting a mean mug. People would be looking at me like I just either stole something or I'm a no good person. But I tell you one thing, I wear this wheel in 2024 and 25, and the director pointed it out, which was something I wish I would have remembered, that the community gravitated to us. They wouldn't charge us when they were dropping off wood. They would be bringing out pizzas. They would be bringing out everything to our members because they realized the fight not only was ours, but theirs too. And I remember this was the coolest story I heard while we were on the picket lines, that the cops were like, we got a job to do, but we're going to give you some leeway. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I'm not going to tell you what district it was in. But they did point that out, and they gave us the leeway, and they didn't mess with our members. And I seen them about 6 months later at another event, and they're like, thank God you guys did as well as you did, because they automatically gave us our 30%. Right after you guys ratified your agreements, we were able to get our contracts done without any fight, and they gave us exactly what you guys got. So that's just a testament to where the UAW is going. Because I remember one time, and it was pretty neat and pretty cool, because back on October 3rd, 2024, I hit my 30 years, and why I remember that date, because we seen the biggest rally that the UAW's seen in my time that I've been a part of at Sterling Stamping, and we were able to have 15 Mile Road and Van Dyke shut down.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, for Keep the Promise rally, we had the cops there, we had the politicians there, we had everybody there. And who would have thought, and anybody that works at Sterling Stamping knows, there was the time where the cops would come in the parking lot and we would be public enemy number one as members, right? But they were able to shut down 15 Mile Road, Van Dyke for an hour and a half during rush hour traffic, which was a pretty great experience to be part of. So that just shows you what the UAW has overcame and where we're going. And that was not the LaShawn English and Ray Pecoraro's show, or the Doug McIntosh president over there, or President Fain. That was the members driving. That was the leadership all uniting together, doing something as one that actually helped us move this union forward and get rid of Carlos. And that's when the shit can Carlos got made that day. It was pretty special and pretty sweet to be a part of that, especially on my 30-year anniversary. So I was pretty excited. And I wear my wheel whip proud wherever I go now, and people actually want to talk to me. Like I said before, they would mean mug me, like, who you, Robin, this, that. Now they want to hug you. They want to know where you're going, what you're doing, how you guys going to fight the next round of battles, where we are. So it's just a great day to be the union.
Yeah, and I think it's important that, like both you guys have said, that the members, we need to really make it a point to let our members know how important they are. I don't think they realize how important they really are to the organization, to the community, just overall. And it is a job, but we need to, embrace our members and let them know you are important, because you are the strongest body. I mean, it's the members. It's all about the members, and we just have to remind them how important they are and how important their involvement is. And we have another question from the audience.
Hey.
What up, though, Region 1?
What up?
What up, dog?
Okay. All right. Well, I'm Linda Jackson, recording secretary at Local 7, Big Bank 7. And I am definitely working behind the scenes. I'm so proud of y'all today, just engaging our membership. So I know we got Toy over here with the Zoom. People are definitely tuned in on the Zoom. And I am right now on the Facebook Live. And man, they really turning up on the Facebook Live. I'm looking at Local 653, of course, Local 7, 1264, 1700, 51. And I've seen a couple of great questions that I wanted to throw out here to you guys. It's a 3-part, but they kind of all go in together. So they wanted to know, what is some of the best leadership advice that you ever received? And they also wanted to know what type of skills or leadership skills helped you actually move up through the organization, because you guys have held several positions. And to follow up, what are some of the most important decisions that you guys have made being in this leadership role?
Oh, well, you have to do it one by one.
First, or you want to? You want to go first?
Because like go with the first one. What was the first question? I'm gonna do with the first.
So the first
I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna let Ray do one, then I'll do the last one.
some of the best leadership advice anybody has ever given. Can I answer that real quick?
We
Get
got
you-
three.
Get your mentor.
And we can do it quickly. They do that one quickly. Go ahead.
Get your mentor, one, and as a female, don't be afraid. Because when I was pushed into running, when I ran for VP, when I was pushed into running, I had to have a mentor as well. And Director English will tell you, I called her every day for the first year, literally every day, because you move and you're not for sure. You know, you have 1,000 people that you're representing and you're not for sure because, you know, I don't want to make a bad decision. Somebody might lose their job. I don't want to make a bad decision. So get a mentor, get someone that you trust that's going to guide you in the right direction. And I promise you're going to be okay. And then she laughs when I say this. When you start getting into the contract language or just your bylaws or the Constitution, keep your arms and your legs inside. Don't color outside the lines. Because if you stay inside, you can't go wrong. It's when we start reaching out here, let me try this, even though it goes against this, that's when it creates a problem. And then you turn to the upper leadership and they're looking at you like, well, you know, they don't want you to tell you that you don't want to hear that you're wrong when you're wrong. So I'm going to say, keep your arms and legs inside whatever contract or bylaws. Just be safe. Just keep them in there.
My best advice for somebody that's in leadership, and this is probably what actually keeps me getting elected. First, listen to your members. You ain't gonna have all the right answers, but listen. To be honest, listening, and get back with people. I mean, it's weird because actually we got a member in the audience, Jason, right now. Just turn it on right quick. Jason, but when I was the president, I strive myself on making sure I get back. As a matter of fact, people be like, why are you calling me at 1 o'clock in the morning? Because I really want to, you don't have to do that. You just don't have to do that. But you have to get back with people because you don't leave people, even if you don't have the right answer. And you tell people you're going to get back with them. And this is advice for anybody in leadership. When someone comes to you, write it down because I seem to remember a lot, but write it down and get back with them. That is the most important thing you can do as a leader. And do not give out wrong information. Tell a person, and it's okay to not know. Because like I said, not know everything, but to get back with them. And this is funny because now I am the regional director. Sometimes it's hard. I still get back with people, but it'd be like 2 or 3 days, or even get on them or get on the staff. But the honest to God, and it's one of the things I do at the region. Here at the region now, I preach getting back with people. If somebody called me and said one of them ain't got back with them, they ain't seeing a happy LaShawn. And that is the most important thing about being a good leader, is getting back with the people.
So I'm going to piggyback off your...
No, you're going to answer your question.
No, it says, were I answering the first one, right?
No, I said it was number one. She wanted to. I said I was going to have one. You was having two.
Okay.
Number 2 question. You got to remember we're on the podcast, right?
So the number 2 question is, what are some of the leadership skills that help you rise through the organization?
Being honest with people, like the director said, make sure you get back with people. And don't assume you know everything, because it's all right to tell somebody that you got to actually look at something, get the answer, and then give it to them. Because the last thing, and I said it in the beginning of this podcast, it's a little tough if you're giving wrong answers, and it could actually cost you, or worse yet, cost a member something. Mm-hmm. And you don't get a redo, especially in 2025. Now, you were able in the early 2000s, as some reps know that's probably listening, you had a lot more leeway if you did make mistakes to go back and fix it, but not in 2025. So just remember those 3 key things of honesty, understanding what needs to be communicated, and make sure you're always communicating and make sure what you're communicating is right, even if it takes you a day or two to get the answer.
And the third one you had.
So the third one was, as directors, director and assistant director, what were some of the most important decisions that you guys have made in your 2 years being in this position?
You want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, so
I don't really think about that because
the few things that were important was to understand that it's not about LaShawn and Ray. When we first got here, we sat down and had a meeting. It was always to put the membership first and foremost. And once we ended up doing that, then we designed an agenda based on what do we need to bring people with us. And then we walked into the Big Three strike, and then the TOP strike, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then the casinos, and then you had a parts plane here and there, right? So we realized that we needed a plan for them. We needed to support the leadership. So we assigned our great staff that we have here to support the presidents and the leadership at all these locations. And we took the approach of getting out there, supporting them, that we're not better than nobody and we're not there for photo ops. We're here to actually get the job done and to give you the support you need. And it's funny because if there's some presidents listening to, they're like, I haven't seen an AD this much forever, right? Or a director. And I'm like, we're here to support you. Well, you don't need to be here this often. Yeah, I do, because guess what? Whatever comes up with either the cops, your members, or supplies is going to take a collective group. So we made it our priority to make sure that education and support for our members were all we had to do here, or most of all we had to do, to make sure that we took it from the bottom and pushed it up. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, at least.
The biggest thing for me was getting staff to see my vision. The biggest thing is getting people to believe and follow you. So that is something that is different from my being at the local level. Now I have staff. Staff job is to take care of the membership more or less. And so, but I did things that they weren't used to. Because again, when you're breaking to an organization and you're new, not meaning new into the old way, it was someone was picked and chosen that they're going to be the regional director. So everyone knew who it was going to be, was already made. I broke into something like broke it all, shattered everything up. So people have to learn that person. And I think that within the 2 years, I think, they're seeing my vision. I see them, but we have to understand that I see things differently. What I brought to the job is, like I said, I believe in getting back. Not saying that the past administrator didn't, but I can say there were times it wasn't an urgency. I can say me being elected, it makes it an urgency for me because guess what? I do have to get elected. And now the person who was in that position before did not. So there really wasn't an urgency for people grievances. And some of that still has not been resolved of how long it's here. And we're working through that and how long things is, but call back, making sure people are available. I think that, to me, that is what we're changing. So the hardest part is getting people to see my vision, to see exactly what I want, that I felt. Because again, I'm elected. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't make things right. I don't know if everything I'm doing is going to be right. I mean, it's going to go down in history but as a leader, you want people, you first of all, you got to have a vision. Our leaders should have a vision. And how do you make your vision successful? And the hard part is teaching other people who may not want to go the way you want to go, or even not even be educated on the whole process of it. To lead, and for me to lead, to be a leader is a lot. To be a leader is a lot of things. To be a great leader is to get people to follow. And I don't mean to be I'm their boss, but to follow my vision. And hopefully we are successful at the end of the day of educating the members, create new members, to make sure that this organization is standing on what we felt and is what we needed. That is what, in this 2 years, as good leader, always know it's just a title. For me, it's never about this title. At the end of the day, it's more about my heart and my vision to make sure that this region is for everyone and that they get something out of it and a piece of. And as a great leader, you are not scared of an educated member. at the end of the day.
Those were like some of the most important questions that I saw that was on the feed. And I don't want anybody to feel like we're not answering all questions or anything like that. It is a lot of feedback that's on here. Someone already asked the question about the Constitutional Convention, but someone also added in here, can we get workshops for writing resolutions for that upcoming convention? And also shout out to the Education Department because there are workshops next week, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Yes.
So
Ain't no late to join, is it right?
whoever made that suggestion, we will begin with our educational rep and making sure that we do have something. There is this is your guys' region. This is your thoughts. Just please call Region 1. Like I said with the person that had the trades thing, we are going to answer you. Now, we might not be able to tell you exactly what you hear, but we're going to get you in touch with the right people. Same thing. Great idea. We will get in touch with our education team and we'll put something up together and then we'll make sure we launch a class. And we are proud to say we do have over 100 people this week coming to the election committee. And then also we have our beginning grievance handling class filled up too. Rack, our educational rep, has been able to move some mountains and miracles by going up a little. But what we don't want to do is overpack everything, even though I'm glad we have all this. But instead of overpacking it and shortchanging the members and trying to do more with less, we'll just have to work another day, maybe a Saturday or Sunday, because we understand that not everybody can make it on a Thursday morning, afternoon. So if we have to, we'll launch another one because, see, we're 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And if that's what needs to be done to educate our members and bring everybody together to move the wall, we're committed to doing that. Director English, like I said once, like I said twice, education's everything to her. She gets on me all the time, and she almost said it today that she actually reads and I just wing it sometimes, and I get, as she said, you and your assumption rate is going to get you effed up and me. So I get it, but with that being said, too, don't kid yourself that we will be here no matter what time of day and night and launch classes to make sure everybody's accountable that works with your schedule. And if you are listening and have some ideas, please send them into the region because we love to accommodate you because we work for you guys.
I think we have a question coming from Zoom.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, it's Toy again. I personally want to thank LaShawn and Shantae for this opportunity. I want to say that the UAW as a whole is great. And here at the Region 1, you do give opportunities to people who are inside the plant, not just people who are here in the region. So I want to thank you for that. Now, my question that I have for you is, now we know about Facebook, all of the social media platforms. I would like to know if you had to create a hashtag, what would it be? What would the philosophy be? And what would the hashtag be?
What up, dog?
There you go. All right. All right.
Region 1, what up?
All right. What up, though? That's the hashtag. So we want everybody out there listening on Zoom and Facebook to create the hashtag when you come in and you call in to the podcast. We want you to start creating the hashtag What Up, though, so we can make that go viral.
But make sure you say Region 1.
Region 1. What up, though? Okay. Now with AI, we know that AI is overwhelming here when it comes down to our jobs and everything. Can you tell the audience how impactful is AI in our workplace and what can we do to enhance that as far as our jobs go?
That is a very interesting question that you just stated, because I'm always looking into AI, ChatGPT, all these things that are for our job. During negotiations, we are going to have serious conversation about where AI, artificial intelligence, is going. I think Bill Gates just said yesterday, in 10 years, there's a list of jobs that will be gone because of AI. And if you're not investing in AI right now, it is a problem. The world will revolve, but you got to be prepared for it. One of the things I have learned when we was in skilled trades, they have CAD machines now. And all of a sudden now you can almost design a car on these AI machines. And it eliminates so many jobs. They're getting better and faster. So we have to continue to go get educated. If you are in the big three, they offer a lot of classes that your tap money that you should utilize. I'm just keeping it real. Keep yourself up to breast of everything that's going on, because the world will go faster, and it's going to go a lot faster, especially with AI. Because me and Ray just went to General Dynamic, and I asked the engineer the question over there, and he was saying, they're putting robots inside the tanks because, of course, you don't want human lives in there, but they're able to run tanks without even humans in there. And this is because of AI. It's dangerous, but at the same time, it's useful too, right? There are people, you're getting surgeries now. There are surgeries that are being done without a doctor present in the room. So what I would say for a union member, please pay attention to what is being new technology that's coming in. Make sure you're trained on it. If you're skilled trades, we got a skilled trades delegate conference. That we also have a skilled trade meeting here at Region 1. And these are things that we talk about because we need to know what's happening inside the plant. So when there's time to educate the people that work on this, that we can bring this up to the leadership. You got to understand, we're not in the plants. We don't know what's happening, but that's why you have a skilled trades council. That's why you have all these different councils. But I will say this, during negotiations, this should be a question asked of your money, tap money, if you're out of the big three, or even if you're at IPS, what can we do? Write down different things, technology, and put in there more money for education so we can learn to be right there on the cutting edge. Because if your job is not the cutting edge of technology, it could be eliminated. And we have so many different sectors here, so I don't want to just focus on just the big three, but there's a whole lot of other sectors. So be mindful of it. Just be mindful of it. That's all I can really say about AI. It's dangerous, but it's happening.
We have another question from the audience.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tawanda Perry Sawyer.
Hi.
Director, first I want to say thank you so much for hosting this event. Since I've been a part of Region 1, which has been 3 years now, I have never heard of anything like this. So I thank you for everyone putting it together. What I do want to bring up is also something that I've never heard that was done was the Financial Freedom Summit that was held last Sunday here. It was such a great success, everyone. It was a packed house, and we only had standing room only. Even though it was for Women's History Month, so the speakers actually taught basically towards the women, but it was something that was needed, and we could tell because it was so many people that came. My question is, when will we be doing something else like that since it was such a great success?
We're going to be doing it. I put it on my Facebook page, and I was like, we need a part 2. What was very interesting is, and I want to make sure clear this up, there were a lot of people, there were packages. And when I was the president and they offered packages, probably like, I can't remember exactly when. And so many people didn't know what to do with their money. And they came back begging to get their jobs back when they took the money. Like, when you take this, I always say you got to have a plan. It doesn't matter. I can't tell you what to do in your household. All we can do is make sure we educate you. And what I would do when I was at the local, I would make sure whenever a package was coming up, I would bring people in just to kind of have some kind of conversation so people can kind of understand. I can't tell you what to do. You only do what's best for you. Because I saw so many people would come back and say, begging me to get their job back. And I was like, oh, and it was sad because that's not a lot of money. I'm being honest. We make more than that. I just wish there was more money offered if you really want to do it. So I truly believe in generational wealth. I believe that we make a lot of money. The Men's Health Fair did a fantastic job last year where they had a young man who started as an SVR, and he's now a millionaire. And what he did, he was teaching us how we should use our money. And again, it's another thing about education. Doesn't matter you young or old. This is what it's all in my vision of education. It's all like you're my brothers and sisters. And so I got to educate. Whether we do what we want, but I want to educate our members. Like, and let's invest in these EFTs. Let's do what we got to do to make some money together. I'm willing to do whatever, like Ray said. Ray said it best. This is your region. And if that's what y'all want us to do, we're willing to do it because, again, it's just making my brothers and sisters more valuable, right?
Amen.
This what we want, sir. All right.
You got it right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this has been a wonderful show. It was a lot of information given out. I think our members are happy because, again, it's all about our members. And I'm going to yield to the director on the AD final remarks or a final statement.
You never let Ray go first, right?
We have to.
We got to let him go.
We gotta let him go.
You sure. Go ahead, Ray.
Alrighty. Once again, I can't stress the importance of us all bonding together, uniting to bring this membership to where we need to be. We're all part of this, no matter what position, what title, what plant, what sector, what part of the UAW you belong to. The main goal is to make everybody's lives a little bit better, right? And to keep something going that's been around for 70 plus or 90 plus years now, not even 70. So at the end of the day, I love to see it because we have seen in last year these rooms here at the region being filled more and more. And I'm just hoping that with podcasts like this and doing different trainings and education, that we can fill these rooms for years to come and to all understand each other and when it's necessary, because I did see it during all the different sectors that went on strike where TOP was supported by Big Three was supported by the casinos and so on and so on. We would call different locals to come out that weren't called on to come out and support, right? So that was the beginning of everybody uniting to move this union forward. So let's just make sure we're asking the right questions, because it's easy to just believe something at a picnic table that you hear, or maybe even in the Facebook world that you hear, or even from a friend that you believe. But you do have resources. There are departments that can answer these questions. There are leaders that are paid to answer these questions. So I always said it, I always will. If you want to know something, go to the right people. Even though sometimes the entertaining answer and the hype that belongs with the entertaining answers are the easiest ones to accept. Or if you're just having a bad day and you hear something that makes sense to you at the time, remember, that might be only a half truth. Ask your leaders, and if you don't like what you hear at a local level, come to the region. If you don't like what you hear at the region, you got international. So you just don't got to stop with one opinion. You can take this power that you possess because everything stops and starts with the membership. So more of us that get involved, myself included, because I am your AD, but I'm also a member, so I do have a voice. And with that being said, I think if we all unite, and there's no accident, the wheel was designed with people united and holding hands, that's the premise of making this great again. And I think we're getting there, by just looking for the participation. So what I would like to say is, please, let's fill up our union halls. Let's fill up our regional halls. And let's get to work. Because the futures we are going to make better is our own. And it takes an army, especially in today's society, to make it great. So thank you. God bless you. Love you guys. Love you ladies. Gender neutral, of course, all that good stuff. Appreciate the team here at Region 1. I do want to thank all the volunteers that came here on a Sunday to help us with this, as well as the team over here that's actually doing this for us. So thank you guys. Thank you, Director, for your real leadership and your vision, because I'm glad to be part of it. Thank you, Shantae. God bless you guys. And love you.
Director. Ray said a lot. I appreciate that's why we let him go first. That's why we let him go first, right? No, that thank you, Ray. Thank you. He cleaned it up for me.
Don't say thank you and love it.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say he said a lot, but like you said, he said it best, but I do want to say this. This is your region. This is yours. This is want to be member driven. Everything that we do here is member driven. If you see something, you want something different, you want something changed, just let us know. Educate yourself. Please remember one thing. If I don't say anything at the end of the day, we are a family. And everyone is worded a particular reason. We say brother and sisters. We really are brothers and sisters in a labor movement that needs to move further and further and further together. This is your region. Doesn't matter me and Ray title. We can care less about titles. What we care about is making sure you guys are educated and you get what you need from us, my staff, international, wherever you need it from. But just remember, this is your region. And we'll be doing more of these. Know that for the record.
So I want to thank everyone for tuning in today for the Voices of Region 1. Again, did I hear it? Region 1.
What up, though?
Region 1.
What up, though?
Region 1.
What up, though?
Again, thank you for tuning in. If you have questions, suggestions, please reach out to us. And until next time, have a wonderful day.
Yeah.